Uh-oh. Here he is. Coons Baltimore Ford. And what is going on now, right? What is going on at Coons Baltimore Ford? Well, here's the thing. My Ford Mustang Mach-E is ready to be picked up. I need to drop off my Ford Power Boost, but my #1 sales guy has alerted me they've got a Ford Mustang Dark Horse that is in their showroom. So I think I'm going to go check that out. What do you think of that idea, huh? Does the adventure begin? Oh, and there's a Power Boost, or is it? Okay. They've got a pretty good inventory here. They've got a hot pepper red two-door Bronco. You know, if that two-door Bronco is a better setup to work out of, I'd want one of these things. What's incredible, my four-door was 62 grand or 64 grand. Here it is. What year is this thing? 2023. All right, let's go in and check out the Ford Mustang Dark Horse. I've never seen one in person, so that's dangerous, right? As we see who is here at the Coons Baltimore Ford. Who showed up to work today, huh? No Dennis. Wow. And there it is. So look at those tires there. That's total summer race tire, like the Dodge Charger setup. So Dark Horse Premium package, Vapor Blue, cloth vinyl. Wow. Is it a Recaro? See here, tech pack. Dark Horse Hill package, gas guzzler tax. So they want 77 for it. So they've got basically about an 8 grand, 7 grand markup. I wonder where Derek is. So different rear wing. And here is the Dark Horse emblem. Here, you know, I could do something like this on my car. There's a good idea. I should take a picture of that, shouldn't I? A lot of people think my car is a Dark Horse. Oh, they got the window down. You can actually get inside of it. So they didn't do the Recaro seats, which that's actually better. That's interesting. That's a whole wraparound dash. Mine is a 2-piece. This is a 1-piece. Is that right? That's hard to tell. Hey, is this unlocked? Well, you guys have the key? I do not. I mean, you know how it plays out. I'll open this door and yep, there you go. Hey, we lucked out. All right, so this has a 1 screen. Oh, no, it doesn't. No, yeah, but it's 1 piece. Wow. This has the actual charger here. Phone's ringing. All right, back to the conversation. So here, this has adaptive cruise control. That's a nice feature. Manual up and down steering wheel. Has some nice pedals for the manual. The 1 screen is kind of intriguing. Has a power seat on the vehicle to go back and forth over here. Has like a cloth and then blue stitching. That's pretty cool. So the menus are pretty good, but now let's look underneath the hood and see if that's much different. We'll check that out here. And different wheels. Let's see if we get this thing one-handed open. I don't know if I can or can't. Maybe. There he goes. I like the struts. So it has a little crossbar there. So interesting. You can feel the heat. This thing must just come in the showroom. Yeah, they just pulled this thing in. It's hot. So pretty much the same setup on that. Front end, you know, very similar. So compared to mine, then I like the blacked out rear, but did they put an active exhaust? I would think that it would come with that on it, but I don't know if this has that. So equipment, See, you should say, didn't it say Tech Pack? I would think it would be in there. All right. Not too shabby. There's one thing for sure. I could get a Dark Horse emblem. I could do the front graphics on my hood. And so many people would think I had a Dark Horse. I mean, it'd be very challenging to really tell. This has a little wider tire and wheel package on it. So that is definitely more noticeable. And it has the rear dual exhaust tips. So that would give away my car that anybody's a real Mustang enthusiast. Hey, here we go. We got a 2016 Z06. $75,000. Automatic. Too bad it's an automatic. Be a lot more fun if it's the manual. Red interior. Nice car. Beautiful. That's something. That car is probably, I don't know, what was the retail price of that car? Was brand new. Yep. Yeah, the Dark Horse there. I tell you, my car looks so good. My vehicle looks so good. It's hard to kind of get excited on that vehicle. I got to get my Mach-E out of service. So I'm going to do that. And we'll continue to explore things, right? That's the danger. Hey, wow. I just got my Mach-E and it shows a 258 mile range. I don't remember that in this car, or do I? I don't know. Okie dokie. It's time to get all my gear. Gotta get all my gear out of this damn truck into this damn thing. You know, would it even fit? Oh, the projects. They're projects. Well, one nice thing here. Doesn't this thing have a frunk? This makes like no sense to me. This thing doesn't have an automatic frunk. That's crazy. So you got to do the 2-time lever thing to get this thing to open up. And wow, there's a lightning. Now what do we do here? Hey, got a little room here for us. Okay, leaving Coons Baltimore Ford, and wowsker, here is the Mach-E, 250 miles. Got the drive modes and unbridled, so it gives a little bit more of a fun factor. I left the power boost here to get all its updates, and so I guess I did a bunch of updates on this as well. And so zoom, right? Zoom in the Ford Mustang Mach-E. How is the inventory? Got a nice blue Raptor right there. That's dangerous, right? I've had so many Raptors that I just can't see me want to do something like that. So, yeah, it doesn't seem like the inventory is real heavy, or is it? Looks like my old Ford Maverick carbonized right there. That's crazy. Okay, here's a great idea. I am 58 miles from home, 256 miles on the range. So how does that all play out? Does it play out to 198 miles left when I get home? I think it'll be 150 mile range when I get home. Here's another thing. I'm going to be riding up the road where I drove that nice Mustang GT Vapor Blue, and now I'm in the Mach-E Mustang Electric. And how does it handle the bumps compared to that Ford Mustang GT? I think has a really nice suspension on it. And we're in the exact same area coming out from Coons Baltimore Ford. And does this thing get really bumpy, choppy? I mean, what does this thing do? Now, I've got some weight in this thing, and it's crazy. I can feel this front end, just in that bump right there, really kind of had a maneuver on it because of the weights in this car. This car is actually pretty weighted down because I got a lot of gear in it. So, and so far the bumps aren't too bad. It's not real noisy, and it seems to be handling the road pretty well. And these Ford Mustangs really are just really tight vehicles. So I think Ford really has done a good job. And so you can kind of hear, the road. So yeah, the road really is, it's a solid car. But what's interesting, I've got a lot of weight up front in the frunk up here, and I could tell through that corner that the car was kind of feeling that extra weight. And so yeah, so it's eating it up really well, not too shabby. And once again, are we at 198? Can I remember that number? Are we 198 mile range when we get back in? And so already we've only gone, we haven't even gone 2 miles, and this thing's already decreased in range by like 3 miles or 2 miles. So yeah, look at that. So already this car is just sucking up the range. That's why it is not accurate, because we still have 56 miles to go. And so we're at 50 miles to go. What will the range be? Will it be down to like 225? I mean, so the 6 mile range, this here eats up 25 miles of range. It's just very, sometimes just confusing. So yeah, do I buy the Ford Mustang Dark Horse? I mean, I don't know. If I could give up my white one for it, then the kid would have my Vapor Blue GT. I mean, the kid's really getting to a point now where she's like, she really likes that Vapor Ford Mustang GT, which I felt once I kind of started modding that vehicle, that the kid would get more interest in that vehicle. I really think if she drove that car, she has not driven that car, she'd be like, hey Dad, this really is a fun car. So now the debate is if they gave me, if they got creative. So right now there's $7,000 over on the ADM, which for me, I already know. If we try to do a deal, they'd probably keep it more like $3,000. That would be my guess. But if they gave me a healthy trade to play with the numbers and it seemed to make sense, then I would definitely consider it. The only downside is I wish the car was black or a different blue or just a different color, because then I'm going to have two exact Vapor Blue metallic Mustangs. Whose is whose, right? I always get creative and do a wrap and make it something else, but that's usually what I do. But anyways, it'll be interesting to see. Right now, all the key guys are not there because Mr. Jim Coons just went by a dealership and is taking everybody to lunch for a retirement lunch for him. And my guess would be he's going around to all the independent Ford stores probably each week and treating the people he's known for so long to some nice lunches. And that store there's a lot of long-term, long employed people at that store. They've been there, more than 10 years. Some of those other stores, I don't know. I bet you there's a few stores where people have been there 2-3 years. So anyways, the deal wouldn't work today if I tried to make a deal because the right people aren't there. So we're going to kind of leave it at that as we drive the Ford Mustang home. We're at 248 miles now, and we've only gone now like 3 miles. So I think the range has already dropped by like 8 miles since I started videoing this. So it's like however miles you go, just double or triple the range decreasing. It's a fun car. I mean, it's a nice car. I mean, the Ford Mustang Mach-E, definitely a nice car, but I said, you want this thing? They're like, no way. They don't want it. I mean, they're just being diplomatic and saying, we're not going to embarrass you about how we would just not give you a lot of money for this thing. Wow. Wow. Should I be mad? Conversations this morning, and there was a customer in there that was extremely mad. If you pay attention to the video with walk around the Dark Horse, there was a very mad guy there because apparently his car has issues. They can't get the parts for it. So he was taking out all his anger at the front general sales manager there, or the sales manager, I don't know which position exactly he is, but he was having to eat crow as the guy was not happy. All right, so here we are, BlueCruise. Let's turn the BlueCruise button on and see there it automatically activates itself. And right now, you see here now I'm not driving the car anymore. And you can take and set your speeds for the adaptive. and I can change lanes. So you change lanes, unlike the Tesla, the actual BlueCruise turns off. Tesla's claim is that the BlueCruise, or their full service driving, or whatever they call it, doesn't turn off in between the two lanes. You know, so you can switch lanes and the car stays on that adaptive cruise and hands-free driving. I think it's called full self-driving, FSD. I think that's what it's called. So it's really cool. Even for me though, it's always you're questioning, is the car going to do what it's supposed to do? I mean, it's just, we're so attached to these vehicles that you just want to continue to hold on to the steering wheel, have your foot close to the electric pedal, the accelerator pedal. It's not a gas pedal, it's an accelerator pedal, or the brake pedal. So you're just so much in tune. But here's the vehicle going on the road, you know, you don't get any of that exhaust note on the vehicle. You know, that's where people kind of, it has the unbridled wheel motors that kind of give it a little bit of a fun time. So see that, but it's just so wicked fast. That's the thing about these electric vehicles. They are fast, and for the most part, it's comfortable. I really need to start driving this more, just because it just sits around all the damn time. I got a guy coming at me that wants to go 100 miles an hour. That was my conversation this morning, of how people come up and ride your butt, and then you're stuck. Okay, how we doing? 40 miles, 226. So we've gone 16 miles, and we've gone 20 miles of range less. Now, I'm not even staying with a pack. There's a whole pack of cars that are way up the road from me. So some of you are like, yeah, if you'd slow it down some, you definitely get a better range. Yeah, I don't disagree, but when you ride these roads where I live, the people just move at rapid speeds. And like I said, I'm not even hanging close to these people that were just in front of me back in the traffic. They're all gone. Wow, skirt. What's that all about? Boy, I tell you what, you can fall asleep in these cars, man. I mean, it's just so mundane, and the car's driving itself, and yeah, I mean, wow. Another day of living on the road. So, but you go through these really sharp corners, and you know, I don't know, man, I just feel like at these type of speeds, you better know what's going on, because can you even imagine his car didn't turn? But now, see there, but it didn't do any alarm. Did you just see that? So this is what's so dangerous about this car. I mean, it still steers itself, okay, but not as efficient, okay. So now, but it does no noise. There's no ding or bing or jing. It's just if you're not paying attention, this car goes to non-hands-free driving. But it's always controlling the car on the road regardless. I think it's where Ford's got a major flaw, because if you were to literally fall asleep behind this wheel of this car and you really weren't abreast, it's very possible this car could go off the road. It just is not comforting. Yeah, just don't fall asleep behind the wheel of the car. But it's so, you know, that same tone of the vehicle where you just get so comfortable. You see, I'm holding the steering wheel. I don't really need to, but we're going through these corners, and it's like, huh. Yeah, so I hope people watching my channel saw how this vehicle turned off the hands-free. But keep in mind, even though the hands-free goes off, it still has the lane assist, where it's still keeping the car between the lines. But yeah. Coming into Frederick. Still got the hands-free. And so we go to the left-hand lane, see it turns off. And then once you get back in the lane, it should turn back on, technically. But it hasn't. And why is that? I mean, what's going on? I don't know. Maybe it's picking up me distraction. So, didn't we start off at 256? And right now we've gone, what? We had like 56 miles. So now we're like 30 miles. So this thing's eating up 54 miles to go 33 miles. I said, didn't I say 198 or 180? What would be the end result? I said 150. I said it'll probably be like 150, 160 mile range by the time we get back in. That's my guess. I'd say 160, 170 maybe. Now, even off of main interstates, this will do the BlueCruise driving if it's mapped. Chili's won't do the BlueCruise when it comes into the the head-on 2-lane road. But if you have a 2-lane road with traffic flowing the same way and it's mapped, you still can use the hands-free, which is pretty cool. It's just beautiful weather up here in the Virginia, Maryland area. It's just incredible how nice it is. I mean, just wow. So see, there was no warning sound at all of this car turning off the hands-free. But I mean, I'm still hands-free, but because the car, it has it built into it, but it's just not as, I guess, safe, as efficient. So we're down to 191 miles, 13 miles. So I said 150. That'd be a little radical. I don't know. I think 160, 170 mile range, probably where it's coming in. I just haven't driven these Mach-E's in so long. Pretty incredible how I bought a brand new Grabber Blue Ford Mustang Mach-E like in January of 2022, and I drove her for a while. Then the guy that worked for me, I gave it to him because his car didn't run, and he put a ton of miles on that thing and worked out of it, and I just didn't, I kind of get my fun out of it. That was it. Then I got this for my wife, and she just has the range anxiety, so she just doesn't really drive it. So for me, I should drive this more, really. But I'm such a truck guy. And that's what I got to thinking now my Power Boost is my favorite work truck, is now out of commission. What am I going to drive? Do I drive the Tremor F250, which that's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of truck, and it's already got a lot of miles on it. So there's the F-150 Lightning truck, yeah, but that truck's got a lot of miles on it. I'm just kind of hating to really get that thing into 40,000 mile truck. That's a 2022 truck. I mean, I just really don't want to have that. And then I've got the Ford Raptor, Bronco Raptor, which that's realistic. I could use that. I could drive around the Ford Mustang GT. I was doing that for a while. Or I just kind of ride around this. This is nice, but at the same time, it's just something about that electric, it's the electric driving car. And what is it, right? And so, yes, I out my white Mustang GT for another Vapor Blue. That'd be a first. I will say, that'd be a first time ever in my life that I had two exact same model color cars. Yeah, but I think my GT looks in some ways nicer than that car. I would probably have to do some mods to that to be happy. I don't know. Boy, the trees. So I'm this southern Maryland area near the Northern Virginia area. The trees still are pretty full with leaves. So here's the automatic braking. I'm not touching the brake. The car's doing that all in the adaptive cruise. So I think my 170 idea may be about where it's at. So think about this. If it all plays out that way, we went 56 miles and we burned up 86 miles of range. So a 30-mile discrepancy of your range if you got in the car, far you can go if you're driving on the main highways and not the back roads or stop and go traffic. Okay, so let's talk about the pluses and minuses. Let's just say that I decide to move forward, trade in the 2024 Mustang GT for the 2024 Dark Horse Ford Mustang Vapor Blue. And so on the Dark Horse, something that's nice on that vehicle versus my GT is it has a nicer display, wraparound display in the front of the interior. Like this, like a display and a display. That's kind of how the Mustang GT is. But that Dark Horse, it's one whole molded continuous piece all the way across. It has a really nice factory Tremec transmission shifter knob. So that's a huge thing. That car has the Tremec transmission, which that's a really sweet transmission. That vehicle has adaptive cruise control, even though it's a manual. It has 500 horsepower versus 480 horsepower, so it's 20 horsepower more. It has nicer underpinnings of the suspension over the regular GT, so it has borderline. I mean, borderline, that car is a GT 350 in some aspects. That's kind of really what that car really is. It doesn't have the Voodoo motor or a specific motor for itself, but in so many aspects, that vehicle is the Shelby Mustang. So that would kind of be neat to get that back. I like the interior. I like the way they didn't get the Recaro seats. More comfortable seat. It's going to be heated. It's going to be cooled. It's going to be power seat, so that's nice. It has a charging station for the cell phone, which not too fixated up on that. Has nice graphics on the front hood. Has really badass looking tires and wheels because it's the all-out, more high-performance tire and wheel package. Even though I think that car definitely could use the lower. I'd be interested to know what you could do with that on the Steeda suspension and lowering it down, and definitely do an H-pipe on that thing. That thing would probably be pretty damn nice. So yeah, so it's all about the numbers. If the numbers made any sense, would I do it? Knowing me, I probably would. So stay tuned for that as I kind of wrap up the conversation. I'm just kind of off the, just one of those days where I just thought I'd make another video, because I'm just giving you kind of a behind the scenes of what could maybe play out, maybe not play out, and also giving you some time being behind the wheel with Mustang Mach-E electric, just so you can kind of get a little bit more information. And is this something that excites you and you think you'd want to have? I mean, that's just why I like to show my videos, because you can get the experience of hopefully being there with me, and maybe it helps you come to closure of what you want or don't want. So as we zoom on through the circle and get up the road, and this thing's very tight. I mean, this car is so tight on performance wise. This car in so many aspects would beat the GT Mustang and the Dark Horse because it's just so fast. I just can't get over how much foliage is still in the trees. I mean, I just can't get over that. Now tomorrow it's all about getting my Triumph down to the dealership. I mean, part of me says I should drive it down today, but so much driving. Oh, we're in the Virginia side, and kind of interesting. It looks like there's less foliage on the Virginia side than the Maryland. Does that make any sense? See, now I can just hit set on my speed again, do the adaptive. I just love the adaptive. You live behind the wheel of a car every day of your life like I do. I mean, I live behind the wheel of a car, and it's so, in so many ways, exhausting. Until you do this stuff, I'm in and out of my car all day long. I mean, it's just so anything that can help you drive the car, and the car drives itself and manages itself, it is in some ways a nice feature. So, all right, we're home. So we started at 256, I think we went 56 miles. So 56 miles plus 15 is what, 66, 71. So 71 miles of energy for 56 miles, or whatever you want to say. There it is. Hey, we're watching Ice Age TV, and stay tuned for the morning conversations. And does anything come tomorrow? I would say it's a long shot on that, because I think the dealer just isn't going to be aggressive on that vehicle for my vehicle, if you know what I mean. And there's the Ford Mustang GT right down there. Would the kid go for it? Kid take the deal? She gets mine, and I get the Dark Horse? Stay tuned.